Hi, welcome back to the channel. My name's Dr. Claire Killingback and I'm a senior lecturer in physiotherapy. And in this video, I'm going to talk through the lecturer perspective on ways that you can, use creative ways to be gaining work experience so that you can demonstrate that you understand the full breadth of the role of a physiotherapist. And you'll need this in preparation for writing your personal statements and when you come to do a physiotherapy interview. So historically, there's been a bit of an expectation that to get onto a physio program, you need to have had some really great work experience. So, 2 weeks working in a hospital and community in a clinic, work shadowing physiotherapists so that you can really communicate that you understand the full breadth of that role. Now, obviously, since COVID-19, there has been so much more pressure on the NHS and physiotherapists that it just wouldn't be fair for universities to have that expectation of applicants. And I think as lecturers, we really understand that. However, we still want to see that you understand what is involved in the role of being a physiotherapist. Now, just because it's hard to get some of that more formal work shadowing physio work experience doesn't mean you shouldn't try. So my suggestion would be actually, call up your local NHS trust or ping the therapy department an email and just say, look, I really want to be a physiotherapist. Is there any way that I could get some work shadowing experience? Because it may be that they have a rolling program where, they can't offer you a week of experience, but actually they might be able to give you a half-day experience, and that is so much, it's much better than nothing, isn't it? So try that as your first option, but I'm also going to give you some other ways that you can be doing that in case that doesn't work out for you. So here's a list of other options for things you can be doing to get some work experience of physiotherapy. And I say work experience, but I guess it's not necessarily that, but it's about you demonstrating that you've got insight into the role of a physiotherapist. And this is as much for you as it is for you to get onto a physio program, because you want to make sure that you're definitely choosing the right career as part of that decision making. So my first suggestion would be, because this is probably the easiest, is, that kind of online work experience. And by that I mean just going onto YouTube and typing in things like a day in the life of a physio, and you'll have a whole range of videos that will come up from different types of physiotherapists talking about their roles. So there might be like an outpatient musculoskeletal physio. There might be someone who specialises in cardiorespiratory and works on intensive care unit. There might be a neurophysio. You might actually find things like an amputee rehab physio or, women's health, men's health. There are just a whole heap of videos. So actually spending half a day watching some of those videos will just give you a brilliant insight. Another option is actually you could go and volunteer in your local care home, because it's about learning what it's like to be working with people as well. And actually, as soon as you go out and start to expose yourself to some of those opportunities, you'll begin to understand whether this career is going to be the right fit for you. Think about that as an option. You could also maybe do some charity work with Meals on Wheels, because they'll be taking meals round to people who can't necessarily get out to do their shopping or make their own meals anymore. So again, that's just another opportunity to be gaining some experience. I know many of you have to work alongside, doing A-levels or college, or maybe you're a mature student. And so if you're going to be working, then maybe think about getting a job as a healthcare assistant, because that will get you into some of those situations where you can see what physiotherapists are doing and how they're working. And again, you will just pick up so many transferable skills from that work that it will put you in a really good position as a physiotherapy student. Other volunteering options could be, maybe you could go and volunteer in the hospital library or the hospital coffee shops. Anything that gets you closer to being in a hospital and being with patients will only help to strengthen your understanding of the role. Now, I know lots of people have family members who need to attend physiotherapy. So actually, could you ask to go along with that family member or friend to their appointment, and then watch how the physiotherapist interacts with a person? What values and attributes do they have? How do they communicate? What's their treatment? Are they giving them an exercise program? If so, what was the program? And, how did the person receive that? So that's a brilliant way to get up close with some physiotherapists. The other thing you could do, actually, if you can't go along with the appointment, is maybe interview someone who has recently visited a physiotherapist. So maybe a family member, or maybe someone's just come out of hospital after having a hip replacement. So go and talk to them about what their experience was like with the physiotherapist and the rehabilitation. Again, it just gives you great insight into the role. The other thing that you can think about is actually maybe you have a family friend who is a physiotherapist. So talk to them, find out what their training was like, find out how they've progressed with their career, what they love about being a physio, ask them what they don't like about being a physio, because all that feeds into your understanding of the role. So I've given you these ways just to give a bit of an overview of other ways and things you can be doing to make sure you really understand the role of a physiotherapist. So let's imagine that you've gone out and you've got some of these experiences, or you've spent a bunch of time on YouTube watching and learning about what physios do. What you need to make sure you do is communicate that well in your personal statement. And what we're looking for as lecturers, it's not about, how much work experience someone has had in terms of weeks or months, but actually it's about, can you demonstrate the learning that you have had from those experiences? So, tell us what you saw, but tell us what you learnt about a physiotherapist and the role and the attributes needed from that experience. So someone could have had half a day experience, but actually they tell us heaps about what they've learned from it. That will stand out really well versus someone who's had 2 weeks work shadowing experience, but actually doesn't really tell us much about what they learned from the role. So the key take-home message is, when you get that work experience, no matter how you do it, make sure you communicate that in your personal statement. And then also when you come to interview, draw on those experiences to demonstrate to the interviewer that you really understand the role and that you think you're the right fit for that role, and you've got the attributes to be a physiotherapist. So I hope that was helpful. Please do use some of those creative ways to make sure you really understand the role of a physio before you apply and then when you go to interview. Good luck!